Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mike. From Sports Talk with the Fam. I'm just doing a little driving vlog right now. I'm heading to the gym to work out. We're gonna talk about this in detail this weekend, God willing, on Saturday, in regards to what transpired, over this week. Doc being fired and rehired, and all these other things going on. But seeing that I'm a Brooklyn Net fan, and I know KD now has a podcast, and he recently had Kyrie on it, and they were talking about different things, little snippets here and there. Kyrie talking about how this is like the first time he feels in his career that there's a guy on the team that he can say, who can make that shot too, like as far as being clutch. At the end of the game, there's always that one star player that's going to be like, I want to be the guy to get it done. And it was kind of ironic for Kyrie to say that, seeing that he played with LeBron and got a championship with LeBron. Not for nothing, he did hit the game-winning shot in 2016 for them to win the chip. However, it was the play, you gotta give credit when the credit is due, of LeBron James throughout that series that kept them kind of alive, with the extra stuff that happened with Golden State. We don't want to get into that with, Draymond getting suspended for a game, which is kind of OD, and then, Iggy got hurt and Bogut got hurt and all this other crap that happened that kind of gave that victory to the Cavs. But anyway, I find that very interesting for him to say that. My issue with, look, man, I'm happy for the Brooklyn Nets. I've been a Net fan. Like I said, I don't know if I told you guys the story. I'm just going to give you a brief history. I was a Chicago Bulls fan as a kid growing up. Michael Jordan is my favorite player and still is my favorite player of all time. Kevin Garnett is my second favorite player. But so keep that in mind. That's important to this story. So I was a Bulls fan. And when Jordan retired, it left a void for me in basketball, because like, even though like the other guys that I grew up watching, like Pippen and Patrick and Ewing and Reggie Miller, Barkley, and all them cats were still playing, Michael Jordan was basketball. You know what I mean? At that time, and for us. So it was tough to see that happen, but I stayed a Bulls fan for a very long time. So I was a Bulls fan still. I stopped being a Bulls fan after they drafted Jay Williams, who is currently on ESPN now. He has a show with Keyshawn Johnson and stuff like that. They drafted him. He got hurt. It's unfortunate for him. His NBA career got cut short. And I was kind of swaying in between teams. Now, Kevin Garnett, like I said, is my second favorite player, but I'm not a Minnesota Timberwolves fan. So it was just like, all right, he doing well, his team doing well, I'm happy for him. You know what I mean? Like that year in 2004 when he got the MVP, I was happy for him. He made it to second round to the Western Conference Finals. I was happy for him. And then, Sam Kinsullivan wasn't playing around. Who knows? He might have had a chip with them in Minnesota. But that's neither here nor there. But, I was just watching basketball at that time. I didn't really have a set team. And then I got said before, and I don't know if I mentioned this here, but, I always say to my friends, like, there was a small place at the bottom of my heart for the New York Knicks. Because my parents were avid Knicks fans, and they used to get mad at us when we used to watch the Bulls beat up on the Knicks growing up and stuff like that. And my dad always liked Patrick Ewing, and my mom always talk about the Knicks from the 70s and all that stuff like that, So there was always a special place in my heart for the Knicks. And at that time, the Knicks was actually, in the 90s, the Knicks was actually pretty good. So even though they couldn't get past Jordan, they were still a competitive team. They were like, they took the Bulls to the brink a couple of times, the game sevens and stuff like that. And even when Jordan retired, that 99 shortened season, they made it to the finals. They just lost to the Spurs. You know what I mean? And I think they made it to the finals one other time, and then that was it. But at the end of the day, I have a small place in my heart for them. So I was kind of rooting for some of them to do their thing, the Knicks, and, floating around here and there. Now, when Kevin Garnett got traded to the Boston Celtics, what made me a Celtic fan for that short period of time was obviously my favorite player now, because Michael Jordan was no longer in the league, went to the Celtics. I like Paul Pierce as a player, and I used to like Ray Allen a lot because, the whole He Got Game movie and Jesus Shuttlesworth, so I liked them. So I was like, you know what? There's 3 guys on this team that I like. I'm going to make this my team. Doc Rivers is a coach, you know what I'm saying? He black, so, I was like, all right, cool, Doc Rivers. I mean, one time I watched the preseason game, and I saw them, I was like, yo, this team gonna be good. I saw Rondo, I was like, yo, this kid right here, Rondo, he's gonna be nasty. You know what I'm saying? My scouting eyes. So long story short, I was a Celtics fan. They won the chip their first year. I was happy for KG. Finally, my boy got his ring. I don't want to hear nobody, trying to play like he never gonna win a chip and all that stuff like that. Even though they still gonna try to play because of the whole Tim Duncan argument, but that's another story in itself. But I was happy for him. Now you fast forward a little bit. Brooklyn, the Nets came from New Jersey. There was originally a New York team, but they went to New Jersey. New Jersey got rid of the team. They came to Brooklyn. It was a whole big thing. Jay-Z, all them stuff like that. A whole 9 yards. They took that whole neighborhood over, and they have the Brooklyn Nets. So I wasn't a Net fan then. You know what I mean? I was happy that the team was there. I'm from Brooklyn originally, so I was like, all right, cool, Brooklyn Nets, yay, whatever. But I was still a Celtics fan. Once they traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, well, mainly Kevin Garnett, to Brooklyn, I took it personally as a sign from God that, yo, Mike, it's time to come back home. Like, I stayed in New York for most of my teams. I was New York for the Yankees all of my life, Yankees. But then, like, football, I was up and down. I was a casual football fan, but when I was a kid, Giants, that's what your parents told you, like the Giants, whatever. So I liked the Giants. And then I got older, I started liking Green Bay a little bit, because I had, like, Red Favre and Reggie White and all them other cats like that. Then I saw this documentary on Donovan McNabb when he was still in the league, and I was like, you know what, I kind of like Donovan McNabb. So I became an Eagles fan for a hot minute. And then after a while, right before the Giants won the Super Bowl, so I don't want nobody to think I'm with a bandwagoner. Before the Giants won the Super Bowl, I said, I'm going to be a Giants fan again. And then the following year, they won the Super Bowl for the first time in a long time. So I was like, yo, it's destiny, whatever. So anyway, once they traded KG over there, I was like, you know what, I'm a Net fan. So KG and them came there probably the second year the Nets have been in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? So he was there the second year. So after that happened, I was like, you know what, I'm a Net fan. I'm just going to stick with the Nets for good. So now we get to this current state now. I'm happy that we got Kyrie. I'm definitely happy we got KD, obviously, because, KD's a top-tier talent. You know what I mean? Could have been arguably one of the best players in the world if he can get hurt, and probably still is to a certain degree. So I was open. I was like, yo, man, I'm so happy, the Nets, blah, 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 blah. But there's some things that I don't like. Now, when they hired Kenny Atkinson the first time, I was kind of skeptical. I was like, oh, Kenny Atkinson, I don't want to be a Kenny Atkinson fan. I don't care about no Kenny Atkinson. Who the heck is Kenny Atkinson? But then when he came in there, he changed that culture. I was like, yo, this guy is good. He was a great coach, and I liked him. Now, obviously, we got superstars on the team, so things going to be different. When he was playing with not house money at the time, but he was playing with, like, yo, I got these young guys who really hungry, who really want to prove themselves in the NBA. They're playing the right way. So he had that culture locked in. Like, there was no egos on that team, really, because he kind of got that out the door. Nobody was a really established person. Nobody had anything to really hold their head up high as far as accolades was concerned on the Nets at that time, because it was like, who we had, like maybe D'Angelo Russell was maybe the only kind of guy that people were kind of talking about. I'm talking about after they kind of blew it up and they got rid of Darren and got rid of like Brooke Lopez and stuff like that. Like, these are guys, that young guys who really did nothing. They didn't do anything yet in the league. So, we got KD, Kyrie. I was like, yeah, man, we got that. I can't wait, salivating. You know what I'm saying? Kenny Atkinson decides to leave. He's forced his hand out. With the Kyrie thing, I was like, you know what? Kyrie's a hell of a talent. But sometimes ego, sometimes personality kind of rubs the wrong way. They were winning games, and they were scoring a lot of points, and he would drop 50. But the quality of that win wasn't like really like Nets basketball. And I was like, you know what? He just gonna do his thing right now, because he obviously the nicest cat on the team. And once KD come in there, things will die down. He'll be able to play his position. But after hearing that podcast and hearing what he said about the last shot taken, I guess he didn't really LeBron as that guy, as that alpha. To be at an elite play, you have to have like that kind of dog, and you have to feel like you're an alpha at some capacity to make it that far, and also to be a superstar. So I don't take nothing away from him on that regard. But it's like, yo, man, let's be honest. LeBron was the guy who made you was on that team when LeBron left the first time, and y'all wasn't going nowhere. LeBron come back, they make some moves, y'all in the playoffs every year. Y'all making it to the finals those years he was there. You know what I'm saying? So let's be honest with ourselves. But the other thing I didn't like when they hired Steve Nash. Now, I like Steve Nash as a player, and I said I'm not hating on it. We had the discussion on the podcast. Y'all saw that already when we talking about the white privilege and et cetera, and how it can be perceived in that way. But with the Steve Nash situation, I looked at it from this perspective, where it's like, you know what, he's a great guy. You know, he knows the game. He was a 2-time MVP. He's a point guard. A lot of point guards make great coaches. You know what I mean? Because they see the floor and they see the game a little bit differently. He has a great rapport with Kevin Durant. And you know how this new current era of basketball and players, you have to like go through the superstars first before you make any of these moves, because if you don't, the superstars can be very moody when it comes to those things. But when I heard Kyrie said in that interview, and they quoted it on Bleacher Report, and you quoted it on one of my other things on Twitter feed, I don't think the Nets we don't have like a real head coach. You know, I could be the head coach. KD could be the head coach. So in his mind, he's like, yo, I'm so good, I don't need to be coached. Now, that's a good way of feeling about yourself, because that's great confidence, you know what I mean? To take that, you know, feeling of it. But even the greats have been coached. Michael Jordan, I'm pretty sure, say, yo, Phil, man, I might, you know what I'm saying? But he still took wisdom, still listened to the other people on his team, because it takes a team to win. My issue is that I'm not speculating right now. Like we don't know. We haven't seen anything yet. We didn't see them play with each other yet. KD is gonna play this season coming up. He hasn't played a year. We don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know at all. But when you start talking like that, it bothers me, because it makes me feel that you trying to be above it. And it's like, if you're not willing to take criticism, you're not willing to take guidance, or like, you know, be led a certain kind of way, that's like a recipe for disaster for me. Because like, that means to me that if Steve Nash were to say, hey, Kyrie, maybe instead of like, you know, trying to do this pull-up three after you do your crossovers, you know what I mean, maybe dish the ball an extra pass, you know what I mean, maybe put yourself in this position here, you know what I mean. And if he's going to be reluctant to take that information or take that wisdom, because he feels that, yo, I could be the head coach, this person could be the head coach, to me, I feel that's going to be a problem. And you know, I'm old school in the sense that I like the old school way, where the coaches just come in there, you know, had that kind of authority, in the sense, not disrespectful, because I don't think anybody should be disrespected, but I'm talking about had the authority in the sense to say, hey, you know, this is how we're gonna rock, this is what we're gonna do, I need you to be this way, I need you to play your role, I need you to go down here and do this, I need you to make these sacrifices, I need you to make these adjustments, and have that full confidence that he can go out there and tell his players that they're going to acknowledge it. And then on top of that, after they acknowledge it, they're going to be like, you know what, the other players are going to fall in line. You know what I mean? It's too often where these star players get so caught up in their feelings that when the coach starts to make those suggestions, all of a sudden, you know what I mean, the coach is on a hot seat, because everybody looking at the money. Look, I get it. The star players bringing the money, but you know what also bringing the money? Winning. And I haven't seen a star player by himself or herself win anything just by themselves. It's always a team effort. So even if you're the best player on a planet, right, like Michael Jordan was and is, right? Michael Jordan still realized, look, I put up all these numbers, I'm cooking these dudes, I'm the man, my skill set is so crazy, but I need help. And when he realized he needed help, he invested in getting the people the way they need to be. Now, granted, his methods might not have been the most delicate, might not have been the best method, but his method was effective. The man got 6 championships, 6-0 in the finals, never won 7 games. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that out there. Like I said, I mean, we're going to talk more about it when we have our podcast this weekend, but those are like two little red flags for me that I saw. And I you know, I don't want to be like, you know, a naysayer on my team, but I just don't like hearing those things and seeing those things, because to me, it's already showing, you know, the unwillingness to humble yourself. You know, you could be a great player and still be humble. You know what I'm saying? You could be, you know, a great player and still take some form of criticism and understand that, yo, I'm part of the game, but I'm not bigger than the game. You know what I'm saying? And I feel a lot of times these star players feel that they're bigger than the game, and then that's why a lot of them, when they get to that, they hit that wall when they ain't getting no chip and they're not winning, and people put all that pressure on them, they start to realize, yo, man, like, maybe I really need to start doing this and making these changes. We look at like people like Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's one of those guys. In his prime, he was the man, grabbing a rebound. The game changed from being down in the low post to 3-point shooting. He had that back injury. He hasn't been the same since. It took him a very long time to really humble himself to be like, you know what, Dwight, I'm not what I used to be. I'm not that type of guy. I need to play my role, and now he's a significant role player on this Lakers team that's possibly going to win a championship. And you're going to finally get his ring. You know what I'm saying? It probably might not have been the way he wanted it, him being the star, but hey, he can go down the book saying I participated and I got my team a ring by, playing hard and playing my position. But anyway, like I said, man, we're gonna hit this up on the weekend. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on that little topic and, do my little driving vlog. I felt like talking. But anyway, you guys take care. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please go on YouTube and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. The channel is called Sports Talk with the Fam. You will see a picture of all of us together right in front of the Jordan statue when we went to Chicago to watch the Bulls play in Chicago. We always wanted to do that, so we did that together. You're gonna see that. Just click on that icon, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know what I mean? So you get the content when it comes out. Also, give us feedback. If you want us to talk about different topics, let us know. If you want us to have the podcast a little bit shorter, let us know. If you want to be able to see us, let us know. So then these are the things we can make it more interactive, so it'll be more entertaining for you guys. I know how it can be. If you don't really know us and you don't know our sense of humor and what we're talking about, a lot of times I might feel like, I don't feel like watching it, but just give us this feedback so we can know. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to help the channel grow. We all like to talk sports. I know you guys like to talk sports. Let's do it together. You know what I mean? And let us know how we can make it better so we can make it better. But anyway, thank you guys again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless.